Do you want more free videos on the Pittsburgh Steelers from us here at Steelers Talk by Chat Sports? I assume the answer is yes, and if my assumption is correct, then subscribe. We're going to bring you guys free videos pretty much every single day on everything going on around the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe. You're watching Steelers Talk. I am Tom Downey of Chat Sports, here with the latest on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we begin today's video by looking at the quarterback position. The Senior Bowl is underway, and there's a local kid there in Kenny Pickett, the Pitt Panthers quarterback, who wasn't exactly shy about his interest in playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers sent a pretty big contingent down, like all the big NFL teams have, for this week's Senior Bowl, and Pickett is arguably, if not the favorite right now, to be quarterback one in this year's NFL draft. Now, the Steelers are very much in the market for a new QB1, with Big Ben calling it a Hall of Fame career. Pickett was asked about, hey, do you want to play for Pittsburgh? Here's what he said. Quote, the possibility of getting drafted there would be unbelievable. Pittsburgh is really my second home, so that would kind of be a dream. It started when I got recruited to Pitt, and maybe at the next level, we'll see what happens. Pickett was also asked about his relationship with some Steelers coaches. He said, quote, Coach Tomlin is a great guy. I'm obviously very familiar with Coach Matt Canada as well. He recruited me to Pitt, so I have a great relationship with them. The Steelers, of course, looking for a new QB1. Big Ben has called it a career. He's retired. Pretend there's a big red X right there over his name. That leaves Mason Rudolph. RFA will be back. Dwayne Haskins and Joshua Dobbs. I know there are some Mason Rudolph truthers, some Dwayne Haskins truthers out there. I don't think they're the guys. I think we've seen enough of those two. Could Kenny Pickett then be the guy and stick in the same city this time at the professional level? We'll see. Pickett this year, his production was awesome. The offense for the Pitt Panthers skyrocketed this year, and Pickett's production was about the same as it's been over the previous 3 years of his career combined. He had more touchdowns this one year than he had in his entire Pitt career entering the 2021 campaign. This is the definition of a massive breakout year. That level of jump is why there have been some comparisons to Joe Burrow. Now, I think he is a lesser Joe Burrow, which makes his comparison, I think, Jared Goff. And Pickett could be QB1 despite the very big hand size complaints, which I guess is, look, I was able to make him a little bit smaller. Yeah, I think that the hand size stuff has some merit because he's had a fumbling issue at Pitt. But you can get by with having less than the biggest hands ever, and I do think Pickett has the traits to be QB1 in this year's class. But do you want the Steelers to draft a QB like Kenny Pickett in the first round? Type in a Y for yes or type in N for no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get the ad break here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. The other potentially top QB off the board, I think, in this year's class is Malik Willis, or at least one of the other top options, I should say. Pittsburgh, like I mentioned, sent a bunch of reps down there, 12 in total, various scouts and coaches. GM Kevin Colbert is there, head coach Mike Tomlin, OC Matt Canada, and they all spent extra time after practice talking with Malik Willis, including spending some time with his parents, who were also down there in Mobile for the Senior Bowl. Pittsburgh is clearly showing interest, as they should, because there's uncertainty at the situation as it relates to quarterback, both short-term and long-term. Willis is a fascinating prospect this year. The numbers are not great as O-line sucked, but the traits are there in a way that is not for other QBs. Big-time arm, fantastic athlete. Everyone is trying to find the next Mahomes, Josh Allen. You don't find those guys very easily. But Willis has the traits that teams are going to say, yes, we can develop this guy. We can make him and develop him and get a top 10 caliber quarterback with the ability that he has. He's a dynamic runner. Also, by the way, has had a fumbling problem in his college career, much like Kenny Pickett, although 200 carries, certainly a portion of that. His O-line was not very good. Boom or bust is what he is. Now, the other quarterbacks there this week at the Senior Bowl, Desmond Ridder out of Cincinnati, some upside there. I know a lot of smart NFL people who are smarter than I am, and they think Ridder is QB1. I don't see it. So everyone's wrong sometimes. We'll say who's wrong, me or them. Carson Strong has the arm. Knee is a bit of a red flag from that perspective. Sam Howell has some Baker Mayfield to his game, and I think Bailey Zappi and his video game-like numbers is more of a day 3 type of QB prospect. So if you were going to draft a QB, of the two we've spent time discussing today, type KP for Kenny Pickett or type in MW for Malik Willis. Let me know which one of those two you'd prefer in the comments section. You can also hook up with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Steelers125. I'm sure my guy Thomas Motz told you plenty about them. 125% deposit bonus when you use that promo code and put down at least $100. You can bet on the NBA, college basketball, and the Super Bowl. Plenty of prop bets on there as well, like the coin toss if you really feel good about going with tails, because if you bet heads, I hate you. Promo code Steelers125 gets you a 125% deposit bonus. Just be sure to use the right URL. It's chatsports.com/bet. Plenty of fun stuff you'll be able to bet on, too, including, as things move forward, the draft. There'll be plenty of draft bets available on BetUS as well. You're watching Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey. Let's look now at some of the Steelers GM candidates. Says Kevin Colbert, going to call it a incredible career, by the way. The two known internal interviews that have already kind of gone down. Omar Khan, who has long been linked as the favorite for the gig. He is the VP of Football Operations. But also Brandon Hunt, who is the Director of Pro Personnel for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would wonder if Khan taking interviews this year was indicative of maybe Brandon Hunt is the internal frontrunner. Certainly a thing to keep an eye out for there from that perspective. Both guys could also get promotions, kind of like the Packers did a few years ago. All right, some other names mentioned by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I'll have to look at my notes here because I don't know these guys that well. John, I'm going to botch his pronunciation. Wojciechowski, I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. He is the co-director of player personnel. He was also briefly a player personnel assistant back with the Steelers in 1996, 1997. Played at Duquesne, so there is a local tie there. Rob McCartney as well. That is the son of the longtime Steelers video and facilities director, Bob McCartney. He had a brief scouting career way back when with the Steelers, has been with the Bucs for 11 years. More names coming up in just a second. But first, who do you guys want as the new GM for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let me know what you guys have to say in the comments section. More local ties here. Andy, I think it's pronounced Waddell. I don't have the pronunciation here, so my apologies. Mount Lebanon native, played at Villanova, also was a player personnel assistant from 1998 to 99, has been with the Eagles now since 2016. There's also the Tim Donahoe connection there. He was a former Steelers director of football ops. Some fired former NFL GMs mentioned here as well. Ryan Grigson, I thought he sucked for the Colts, so I don't want him. He is now an advisor for the Cleveland Browns. John Dorsey is a senior personnel executive, the former Browns GM. He is now a member of the Lions organization. Recently fired GM of the Minnesota Vikings, Rick Spielman, which I actually am intrigued a little bit by that name. And then another name mentioned was Samir Suleiman, which I hope I pronounced that name correctly as well. He is currently the VP of Football Administration for the Carolina Panthers. He had spent some time with the Steelers for 8 years, 2012, 2019. That could be a decent external interview as well. Now, if you guys want more Steelers videos, make sure to subscribe. And those videos could include mailbags here. So if you have questions, especially those around the NFL draft, that is part of my duties here at Chat Sports, be the draft, call it what it is, draft nerd. Use hashtag Steelers in the comments section if you want your questions featured for a future mailbag.